Watch closely. A Ukrainian drone sneaks through the bushes until... Boom! The drone just blew up an entire depot of Russian mines. Cost $500. These are TM-62 mines, designed in the Soviet Union in the 60s. They contain 7 kilos of trinitrotoluene and are capable of destroying 40-ton tanks. But here's the real problem. While you were watching this video, there are hundreds of thousands of these mines scattered across Ukraine, buried in wheat fields, hidden in gardens, just waiting. Since 2022, more than 1,300 civilians have already been killed or maimed by them. And of those, a good number were farmers trying to plant food. Until those same farmers said, "Enough!" And they created something so effective that it met the same military standards required by NATO. To understand how we got here, you need to see the real scale of this problem. More than 139,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory are contaminated with mines and explosives. It's bigger than all of England and makes up nearly a quarter of the country. Ukraine has become the most mine-contaminated place since World War II. Think about that. Russia occupies about 18 to 20% of Ukrainian territory. But between the two sides in conflict, they've managed to contaminate another 22% of the land. More than 6 million Ukrainians live in or near these dangerous areas. And the impact of this on agriculture is devastating. More than 40% of the country's farmland is contaminated. That's 18 million hectares out of the 42 million that Ukraine has. This has cost the economy more than $11 billion in lost exports and destroyed productivity. But the real number is much higher. When you add up the disruptions in logistics, the need to rehabilitate land, the direct costs of demining, and the increase in fertilizer and fuel prices, the total impact on Ukrainian agriculture has already exceeded $80 billion. And this is not just a problem for Ukraine. It's a global problem. Ukraine is one of the largest food producers in the world. These mines are affecting the food security of dozens of countries that depend on Ukrainian grain. Therefore, demining can't wait. Every day that passes is another day without harvests. Another day without food reaching the markets. Another day of accumulating losses. But here's the real tragedy. Ukrainian farmers faced an impossible choice. A choice that no human being should ever have to make. They could wait for official humanitarian demining teams, which follow strict protocols and take months or years to clear an area. But while they waited, they couldn't plant, they had no income, their families went without, or they could risk their own lives. And that's exactly what many of them did. Imagine the scene. A farmer tying a rope and dragging it across his own field, hoping to find the tripwires of landmines before stepping on them, or simply walking slowly across the land, looking at the ground, searching for visual signs of buried explosives. This isn't just theory. This happened daily. Farmers became amateur deminers because they had no choice, and many paid the ultimate price. 1 in every 6 people killed or injured by mines in Ukraine was a farmer. That's why, when the Ukrainian army realized this, they did something surprising. They went to the farmers and asked for help. Not help to plant or harvest, help to develop military demining equipment, because those farmers had something that no engineer in Kiev possessed. Years of hands-on experience handling explosives in their fields. They knew exactly how mines behaved in different types of soil, knew the Russian planting patterns, and understood which areas were more dangerous and why. It was knowledge bought with blood, sweat, and lost lives. An unexpected collaboration began. A group of farmers decided to turn their pain into a solution. They started designing a demining machine, funding the initial prototype out of their own pockets. They lacked advanced labs or engineering teams, just real-world experience. The design was based on a concept that has existed for decades, but reimagined specifically for the Ukrainian fields. It's what they call the roller scheme. The idea is simple and brilliant at the same time. The machine uses heavy rollers that simulate the weight of a tank. When these rollers pass over the ground, they apply enough pressure to safely detonate anti-tank mines and improvised explosive devices. The explosion happens under the roller, not under a person. But the farmer's innovation was in the construction. Each unit has 3 distinct sections, and each section is mounted with 4 heavy wheels. This design does 2 crucial things. First, it distributes the weight of the machine evenly. This means it applies the necessary pressure without sinking too much into the ground. Second, it allows the machine to adapt to uneven terrain. Real fields aren't flat test tracks. They have mud, holes, and slopes. Traditional rollers, rigidly mounted on the front of tanks, don't work well under these conditions. But the farmer's version adapts, moves, and works where they need it most. In real fields, the prototype was tested. It worked. But one machine doesn't solve the problem of an entire country. They needed to scale up production. And that's where the Agrarian Council of all Ukraine came in, the body that represents the country's farmers. The council launched a fundraising campaign. They didn't go to international banks or the government. They went straight to local communities. And the response was extraordinary. 29 communities from 3 different regions contributed. Together, these communities raised the equivalent of $300,000. With that money, they produced 8 machines. An invention born in a farm field was becoming a reality on a national scale. Now, the machine needed to undergo official tests. After all, it's one thing to work in a private test. It's another to be certified for actual military use. And here's the impressive part. The machine passed all the required state tests. But it didn't stop there. It was certified as meeting NATO standards, the same standards that military equipment from developed countries must meet. These are strict criteria regarding safety, reliability, and effectiveness. A machine designed by farmers, funded by local communities, built in the midst of war, has reached the same standards as equipment from billion-dollar defense companies. The Ukrainian armed forces were impressed. They approved the roller for official military use and placed an initial order for 23 units. By September 2025, 5 machines from the first production batch had already been delivered to military units. 3 others were in production. The solution born out of necessity is now an official tool in the nation's arsenal. But this machine is not alone. Ukraine is mobilizing all kinds of solutions for this huge problem. At the beginning of 2024, the country had 32 different demining machines. By the end of the year, that number jumped to more than 150. And new machines keep arriving, both from existing stocks and completely new developments, many inspired by the Ukrainian experience. There's the ZMIY, an agile demining robot developed in Ukraine, and the Kharkiv demining machine, which uses brute force to clear large areas. And there's something that really shows the spirit of innovation forced by war. Remotely controlled armored tractors. Oleksandr Krivtsov is a farmer who couldn't wait for the official teams. So, he and his workers built their own demining machine. They took armor plates from destroyed Russian tanks and welded them onto an old tractor. They connected everything to a remote control and started clearing their land from a safe distance. This is the reality in Ukraine. When the official solution takes too long, people create their own solutions. As you can see, remotely controlled and robotic machines are becoming increasingly important. And it makes perfect sense. Experienced sappers are a scarce and valuable resource. Manual demining is one of the most dangerous activities there is. Remote control technology allows these professionals to do the dangerous work from a safe distance. But Ukraine is going beyond just machines. Since 2022, the Ukrainian government has been working with the American tech giant Palantir to develop a platform with artificial intelligence. This platform identifies areas that need decontamination and maps demining operations in impressive detail. The system uses Palantir's artificial intelligence platform, a platform that connects large language models to data sets. It works like a virtual assistant similar to ChatGPT, but specialized in demining. It provides real-time data, allowing authorities to automatically prioritize clearing mines that will impact more people or have the greatest economic effect. And there's more. Artificial intelligence is also at the heart of the Landmines system, an aerial detection technology developed in Ukraine itself. The system uses an unmanned drone equipped with a magnetometer and high-resolution sensors, including visual and infrared cameras. It flies over dangerous areas, remotely scanning for mines and similar threats. Then, it uses artificial intelligence to identify anomalies and generate detailed maps to plan manual or mechanical clearance. Field tests have proven that the system significantly improves the speed, accuracy, and safety of demining operations. What this whole story teaches us is something fundamental. The most powerful innovation doesn't necessarily come from sophisticated laboratories or billion-dollar budgets. It comes from necessity, from the practical experience of people who face a real problem every day. And they decide that they won't accept the situation as it is anymore. Ukrainian farmers have proven that when you combine practical knowledge with determination, you can create solutions that rival anything the defense industry produces. They turned years of suffering into knowledge, and turned that knowledge into a tool that is saving lives. Every square meter cleared is not just land. It's a space where a farmer can plant and support his family. It's a path where someone can return home safely. The demining of Ukraine will take years, maybe decades. But with a combination of homemade solutions, cutting-edge technology, and international support, the country is building the most advanced demining manual in the world. And at the center of this story is a simple and powerful truth. When ordinary people decide to solve their own problems, the results can impress even the world's greatest military powers. Now I want to hear from you. What part of this story impressed you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments. If this video brought you value, share it with someone who will also enjoy this story, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks. See you next time.